IDW Sonic Issue 10. After some clearly unnecessary recap panels, the story starts out with Sonic and Knuckles facing Super Mecha Sonic, Metal Sonic. Shadow ran off last time. I hope he doesn't do something unbelievably stupid, and instead catches them by surprise from behind and tears them apart. If there really was a Sonic Heroes 2, the final boss with Metal Sonic would actually be original in an immediately obvious way. Not like this. I have no idea why Sonic, Knuckles, and Metal are still talking at this point. Metal should have immediately attacked and knocked them backwards. It's realistic that Sonic says he needs to figure out how to beat Metal Sonic, since he did just turn invincible. And maybe he's just talking because he's stalling. But why is Knuckles just saying, "That's cheating," instead of saying that he's dealt with Super Mecha Sonic before, and telling Sonic how to defeat Metal? Are you freaking serious? He wouldn't have forgotten about that experience. He'd be the one making the plan. The only logical explanation is that in IDW, Knuckles' fight with Super Mecha Sonic never happened. Which is more logical because they can't buy that Knuckles alone could have beaten such a fast robot instead of it just hitting him 600 times before he could move. At least here, he has Sonic to protect him. Still, there's a reason that in Rick and Morty, sometimes the characters mention what pop culture thing they're referencing with their plot and compare it to that. That's better than Knuckles somehow being oblivious to the reference to something that happened in his own life, because that just takes me out of it and comes off as the writer being dishonest and actually hoping you won't notice that he stole the plot point from something else. At least Metal being invincible at this point explains why he wasn't interrupted, but him speaking kinda telegraphed that he was going to attack them. So no wonder they thought to move out of the way of a beam of light. Which I guess is electricity. Oh, but then the logic goes completely to shit because Sonic and Knuckles are magically given the time to talk about their plan without being interrupted. I'm back to being pissed off after the last issue was fine. Maybe this writer just completely sucks at action scenes. Pretty inconvenient for an action series. I refuse to buy that nobody went over this plan before going into the room with him. Amy should have told Knuckles to secure the Master Emerald so that Metal can't draw power from it, all the way back when she was telling them the plan. I guess the reason she didn't tell them to do this back then was because she assumed they'd have the common sense to have gone over the plan before going into the room. Knuckles says that Metal would crush Sonic if he tries to keep him busy, and Sonic says he'd have to catch him first. Hello? He's super right now. That means he's Super Sonic, and therefore faster than you. What Sonic should have said is that he has rings, so he'll be fine. Metal grabs him by the heads and moves forwards while damaging the floor below them. Oh crap. But no, they're not cut or bruised at all. What took him so long to do this? At least it's interesting to see him do this and see him smack their heads into each other. He also sends them away while generating electricity. I guess he's sending them away with the wind, and they're not being touched by the energy at all. Because energy is not a physical object that would knock you backwards. At least this isn't just him doing what Mecha Sonic did. And miraculously, Sonic and Knuckles have the time to talk to each other some more instead of being attacked. At least now it's realistic and they look hurt, but it makes no sense. I guess they did get shocked, but if they actually got shocked, they'd... Well, one, Mecha had no reason to not make the electrocution lethal right away, unless he's just keeping them alive to toy with them like a dumbass, which you wouldn't expect from an emotionless robot, as opposed to a sadistic supersonic. Metal was always portrayed as completely serious, and now he's just delaying things instead of instantly snapping their necks, and the only explanation is the same one Fleetway Supersonic had. And at least he had the writer give the line that he likes to play with his food, and another line that the only thing he's afraid of is killing Sonic too quickly. Here, him dragging the fight out is only implied, and you have to feel like humoring the comic to want to believe that's canon, when all it looks like is that Metal Sonic's too stupid to do the obvious thing to end the fight right away. Like spin dash through them both? And two, if Sonic and Knuckles actually got shocked, they'd be unable to move. So they just got burned. Thank goodness it cuts away from Sonic, because that's being written like a disaster. We see Tango with her tail around the cannon on an airship, and she says she's gonna turn their big guns against them, as Whisper uses the laser wisp to defeat a robot to protect her. A lot of the characters could have defeated a robot for her, though. You know, we've already seen the Laser Wisp in Sonic colors. It's a bit nice to see, but it isn't created just because it's pretending to be a Wisp-ball instead of a Wisp. It's just nice to see because we don't see Wisps in comics very often. And you'd think Blaze would have destroyed all the airships of the Egg Fleet single-handedly after last issue showed her off. I thought they were just fighting robots and left it all to her. I guess there's just that many airships. There's nothing to talk about with these guys, they're just killing robots in one hit. Burning Blaze sends a huge fireball at some metal platform and gets back to the island. I wish Burning Blaze looked more distinct from Blaze. She's just blaze in red lighting that could be gotten from fire being around her. Tails told her not to go Burning Blaze, so you're not expecting her to do it. I mean, she can glide in the games, so you wouldn't expect her to need to turn super in order to stay in the air for a long time. I don't see why someone with fire powers would have to go super to be able to send huge fireballs at stuff. But if she wants to outright fly, she has to be super. Then the story gets sidetracked from that and shows Rough and Tumble going to kidnap Eggman. The writer had better explain how the hell they broke out of jail at some point, because if he doesn't, that's catastrophically lazy and only makes it look like he was too untalented to think of how. He's no better than Ken Penders, who never bothered to explain how Robotnik Prime broke out of prison so he could meet Chuck. At least Bowlers showed us how all those prisoners escaped the Devil's Gulag. Eggman's satellite opened their cell doors. Even AOSTH is better written than this crap. At least we saw how Grounder escaped that jail cell. He just extended his metal arm to get the key. I never wanted to see these one-dimensional idiots again. I didn't think we'd see them again that fast. So it absolutely pisses me off that they came back, and for the worst possible reason. Did they know to come here because people in the village in fact did post on the internet that Eggman was here? They said the doc had said he might be a little off right now. So that has to mean they were hired by Metal Sonic disguised as Dr. Eggman, because this is an Archie where there were two Eggmen at various points. I'm not expecting an OC. So if the logical thing did happen and Metal Sonic found out where Eggman was by googling, what took him so long? Then we see Silver insist to Tails that he can only hold so many robots at a time, even though in Sonic Generations he uses telekinesis to make a giant ball of cars to roll down the highway, and had Sonic jump over a huge amount of cars on the way to him. And if the games happened in the past of this comic, then Generations is canon too. How would he think he has a range limit to his powers after that? Also, how the fuck is he so stupid that he's just holding them still instead of just tearing them apart with his telekinesis? Or at least throwing them against the wall and into the other robots, which even Sonic 06 let him do. Even you would be smarter when controlling him in Sonic 06. Tails is here too, so I have to wonder why he didn't help destroy all those robots. He activates some ignition and uses the airship's own weapons to destroy a bunch of the other ones. I have to admit, I am impressed by the sheer variety of ways that the various airships of the Egg Fleet are being destroyed. I made a pessimistic guess that Supersonic would destroy them all by himself, but a lot of stuff is happening instead. I don't remember how the Egg Fleet was destroyed in Sonic Heroes at all, so it must have been really forgettable. Maybe Neo Metal Sonic got so big at the end by using the Egg Fleet as materials. Was that where all that metal came from? So why doesn't Sonic go super with Master Emerald? Why doesn't Knuckles? I guess the reason I wasn't thinking about that at first was, I guess I assumed that because Knuckles was cut off from contact with the Master Emerald in the last issue, maybe them being cut off from contact with the Master Emerald because Metal Sonic is using it is the reason why they can't go super with it. Because if they did, that'd be too easy. I mean, if they could just do that at this situation, then that makes me wonder why Knuckles didn't go super with the Master Emerald in Sonic 3 when he was faced off with Super Mega Sonic. Because he couldn't. So we see some characters get carried and flown by the flying characters. I love that Amy said that Tails was practically raised by Sonic. Finally, someone in the Sonic series actually says something like that, and it's not just fanon or exclusive to AOSTH. Rue said she's gonna chew Shadow out later for bailing on them. We better see that. It's good that she compliments Amy on doing a good job implementing her plan. Rouge, like me, guesses that Shadow is seeking out the strongest threat. Maybe he wouldn't have done that if Tails had bothered to say one sentence to him after turning down Burning Blaze. Like, the same applies to you, Shadow. We can't afford to risk Metal Sonic getting our Chaos Control because he reacted to you first. Oh, but instead of Amy figuring out what that risk is, she says that she guesses Shadow backing up Sonic isn't a bad thing. She really did need Tails to point out that Blaze could have been copied by Metal then. Metal Sonic gets back to the Master Emerald just before Knuckles could get to it, even though Sonic was busy distracting him. Maybe he wouldn't have known Sonic was just distracting him and come here if Sonic hadn't said his plan in front of him. But I love that Metal Sonic said, "Aww," meaning that he's actually talking like Sonic. He smacks Knuckles away without us seeing his hand impact him. That's kind of forgivable though, because I like Knuckles in this comic. After Knuckles lands on Sonic and holds his head, Metal then says that they're defeated. Why is he saying this when they're clearly still alive? That's dumb. He says that's disappointing because he didn't even need to unleash his final form. Final form? What's stopping him from doing that right now when they're alive? And if he had a final form in mind, out of nowhere, what the fuck took him so long? Why didn't he just skip to that? I thought this was his final form. He doesn't have a way to go Ultra, he just went Super. I knew I had a reason to be skeptical when last issue Tails said that Neo isn't taking any chances. He did take a chance here by going easy on people he wants dead. It's not like he's going easy on them because he has a conscience from being based on Sonic, is he? It's so predictable that he got interrupted by Shadow because he trailed off in this panel. He gets stabbed by Shadow's Chaos Spear. Is it true that Shadow literally has to say Chaos Control before he uses it? I guess so, and that justifies him not using it because then he would have telegraphed it and been interrupted. Couldn't he have whispered it so that none of them would hear it? Couldn't he have just mouthed it? Well, there'd be no excuse for a robot not having the best hearing possible. Now, I know it's not the end of the story, but logically there should be no reason he shouldn't have killed Metal one shot here. It certainly looks like he did because his red eyes got all weird looking and there was a sound effect, and he put the Chaos Spear right through his chest. And I've seen a Metal Sonic die immediately to a chest attack in Sonic the Comic. But to be fair, he has to be invincible at this point because he's super, and you can tell because he's golden. But if he is invincible, why is he hurt at all from this? What's with his eyes then? How would he not be invincible from his super form when he's still golden, when Mecha Sonic was? And Shadow's next move had better be using Chaos Control against him. Especially with the Master Emerald right there. Nope, he merely punches him, after Metal Sonic goes back to normal at an inconvenient time. Since he's back to normal, one of these people should be using the Master Emerald to go super right now. Shadow had plenty of time to say Chaos Control while Knuckles was saying his name and Metal was saying, "What?" Why the holy fuck would the ultimate life form just settle for a mere punch against someone as dangerous as him? What an idiot! This better not backfire on him. Because I'm fine with him beating Metal quickly here because it's nearly the end of the story anyways. We've already seen Neo Metal Sonic in Sonic Heroes, and Metal was curb stomping the heroes. Shadow actually uses the rocket fire from his shoes as a laser to use against Metal Sonic. I've never seen that before. I didn't know it could extend to be a laser. Why isn't he freezing time and teleporting him apart though? Sonic then grabs Shadow's arm and tells him that he'll copy his bio data. Hey idiot! Don't give Metal Sonic ideas and more than enough time to do this! Shadow, just say Chaos Control at this point! No, instead he somehow believes that the bio data won't be enough for him to transform when it will. And somehow he's too stupid to take it seriously when Sonic says he'd still get Shadow's powers. When Shadow's the best person to know how powerful Shadow would be. This is dumb! Why won't he keep attacking him? Shadow has no reason to stop. Why is Sonic telling him to stop? It'd obviously be better for him to warn him while letting Shadow continue to attack him. Knuckles forces them to move so he can get to the Emerald. And Metal is somehow still able to talk because the writing is complete garbage. And all the time Metal is talking, Shadow has no reason not to use Chaos Control. He brags, and there's a needlessly dark and edgy panel to go with the dark and edgy writer. And he uses a force field around himself that he apparently has for no reason, as I seriously wonder how the hell things could have possibly gotten to this point. This isn't real drama, it's just brain dead. It makes Shadow brain dead. Why can't his force field look like the Black Shield? I mean, I'll take any creativity I can get, but it doesn't have anything to do with Shadow's powers, so why does it look like that? Sonic advises them to retreat as Metal Sonic turns into the stupid dragon thing again because the writer is literally that uncreative. I didn't think he'd do that. You know, it's extremely ironic that he wrote this to happen because in Worlds Collide, he had Sonic refer to this as that stupid dragon thing. Now you have no reason to get any satisfaction out of that line because Flynn hypocritically used it anyways. He thinks it's stupid, but he still uses it, and none of the characters will call it stupid. Well, I don't remember the way it looked in Heroes exactly. Maybe it doesn't look exactly like that and it's a different form. The fact remains that it's the same exact kind of concept where he makes himself a blue big thing. As much as I complained about how derivative it is to have Mecha Sonic Super again, I was thinking that I was still a bit proud of the writing for not making him do this, because at least him only using his traditional abilities and never doing this for a final form was doing something new with the concept of him as a dangerous final boss. Nope, he plagiarized Sonic Heroes anyways, when he could have easily just stuck with him being super. So the story ends with this lame excuse for a second fight against him happening, and another money-making issue of the comics arc happening, which clearly didn't need to exist. And then Shadow uses Chaos Control to teleport Metal Sonic apart and freeze him in time. No, that'd be logical writing. Lyra Sue could do that when she wasn't even the Ultimate Life Form, but God forbid the Ultimate Life Form freeze him in time for hundreds of years. We clearly didn't need this final form to exist. It came out of complete nowhere since he already had a fight, so it would have been perfectly fine to write Shadow to do that because it'd be avoiding the redundancy of repeating the same thing from Heroes. Why do this if Sonic Heroes already happened and Sonic's past in this comic? It's really confused. In Sonic 3, they were perfectly fine with settling for Super Mecha Sonic as the final boss fight for Knuckles. At least in Sonic Heroes, I could imagine that the reason Shadow didn't kill Metal Sonic by teleporting him apart at the end was that Metal Sonic wasn't close enough to him to be in range of his Chaos Control. But even then, he could have frozen time, and that affects the entirety of existence when he does that. But I can totally understand why someone with super speed would assume that he could be fast enough to defeat Metal Sonic before he'd get a chance to copy his biodata. This issue was by Ian Flynn, and the fight with Metal Sonic was absolutely ruined by garbage writing. Talking as a free action was in full swing there, when the only logical reason that Metal Sonic would have kept Sonic and Knuckles alive so long was out of a sadistic desire to drag out the fight for as long as possible. Which doesn't even make sense for an emotionless robot to want. He's sadistic, but he's still polite enough to let Sonic and Knuckles have conversations together. Why didn't they go over the plan before going into his room? They had plenty of time when they were walking there. Predictably, Shadow tries to come to the rescue, but Metal just copies his biodata because Sonic stops him from attacking him, and somehow he can use Shadow's powers to rip off his final form in Sonic Heroes. I've read that there is a mandate against having Metal Overlord. Either someone's not paying attention, or that's bullshit. It's forced as hell that Shadow didn't just kill him with Chaos Control right away. That's what I would have told him to do if I was Sonic or Knuckles. He would have defeated Metal Sonic in time if Sonic hadn't stopped him from continuing to attack him. There's a reason I never expected Metal Sonic to turn into this giant form in the comic. It's redundant to do this again. Even in IDW itself. And since Metal Sonic turned gold with the Master Emerald, which was at least a new thing to the plot of Sonic Heroes and to Metal Sonic, I assumed that was taking Metal Overlord's place, and that would have been more new and respectable than this waste of time. I wonder if the heroes will defeat him the exact same ways in Sonic Heroes, minus the Chaos Emerald's super form thing, because they don't have Chaos Emeralds. The only good thing about the story is the sheer variety in how the airships of the Egg Fleet were destroyed. There's no reason for Metal Overlord to look exactly like he did in Sonic Heroes, provided that it's not going to have the exact same fight, with the characters all doing the same thing. The next issue clearly didn't need to exist, and considering how redundant it is, it's impossible to take seriously. Like, it's just there for filler. At least he can fight differently from Metal Sonic's normal form, and he did fight in an interesting way in this story. But that's all the more reason him going bigger didn't need to be written then. He already made an intimidating impression.